Well, Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. This is Ishan Isaac with Ishan on Air, and I would like to welcome all of you. And we're live on social media as well: Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live. So this is where uh, the era of social media is going strong, and at the same time, deep fakes and the AI agents are also active, or AI bots are active. And I'm going to start off with this first research that I did. And someone very credible sent me this video blog of Yanis Varoufakis. Now, people who don't know who Yanis Varoufakis is, and those who don't follow politics and in terms of global affairs, Yanis Varoufakis is a former finance minister of Greece. He also negotiated the economic and debt crisis of Greece on behalf of Greece with the international funding organizations, as well as European banks and IMF, World Bank, what have you. And he is known for his rhetoric, very objective analysis. He's also considered as one of the experts on economic affairs, as well as a political commentator. Now, he was interviewed by another person about these deep fakes and why I'm sharing that. So this video that I received talked about the negotiated settlement that happened through diplomatic channels without being public between Canada and China. And what that agreement basically that Yanis Varoufakis talked about in this blog that I watched, which is actually turned out not to be true, was about that Canada, who put the 100% tariffs in 2024 on EVs from China, they have made them from 100% to 0%. And in return, China has lifted their negotiations, their tariffs on different agriculture products as well as soybeans. And it's fascinating. And canola oil as well. So on canola and agriculture products, those were reduced to like 10 or 20%. And that was a big win for Canada. And basically what has happened now that this thing is going to make the US government and the Trump administration really, really angry, and Canada did it. Now, when I researched and looked everywhere from different ChatGPT channels to the versions of ChatGPT to other areas on the internet and with the co-pilots or different types of AI research engines as well, and even on Google, there was no report of that. And imagine that this information, which is false information, is being spread out. Now, he was interviewed by another person, and I just listened to this interview while I was driving to the studio just in the past 15, 20 minutes. And it turned out that Yanis Varoufakis actually received a video from very good friend of Yanis, and a very credible friend who he trusted. And he said that, hey, Yanis, you did a great job, and what a video. And he said, okay, yeah, send it to me. And then when he watched that video, and 2 minutes into that video, Yanis realized that's not him. Even for 2 minutes, he got deceived. You know how? It was deep fake. Because he said that he was wearing this blue shirt, and that blue shirt never left his island home. And where that particular video was shot was somewhere else. I don't know if it was London. I don't remember. So even, folks, Yanis got deceived. So we are living in an era of this fake videos, deep fake, and AI bots have become so sophisticated that even this commentator who was interviewing with Yanis and on his blog said that some of these videos have 38,000, 78,000, and 70,000 views. Imagine how many people are taking this information, and Yanis considered as one of those people who has a strong rhetoric. And he said that some of the rhetoric, even in those videos, he was not against it, but he never spoken those words. So the reason I've shared this, that we got to be very careful, folks, that this is happening, and we have to do some research before even forwarding videos to our friends. Because if I wouldn't have done that research, I would have shared that false information. That's why the duty is upon all of us. It's our responsibility, because without knowing, or with our good intentions, and with not even knowing, even with good intention and even with heart, you may forward something and the other person may think that it's true, although that is completely turning out to be false, even in this particular example. So something I thought, it's sort of like a public service announcement, I would say, that we've got to be careful in terms of what's happening, what's not happening. So what is actually happening is where Zishan on here, and I do my research and always try to bring these sources to you. So when you're getting information, I report, you decide. Now, Reuters has reported, and we all know, we have seen the images, and that's where President Nicolas Maduro pleads not guilty to charges of narco terrorism. He was presented to the US criminal justice system. These are some of the images. As you can see, this armed and very armored vehicle is reversing into this courthouse, and he is now going to be the judge is going to be listening to his case in March. That has been reported. So armed guards move Maduro from jail to New York. So this is the latest on this. Trump team, Washington Post has reported, puts a target on Cuba with threats and oil blockade to keep the lights on. To keep the lights on and cars running, Cuba has long been dependent on Venezuelan oil supplies, for which it has exchanged security and medical personnel in a sympathetic contract with leftist allies in Caracas. Quote, I could very well be proven wrong, but Cuba has been here before, unquote, and survive, Bustamante said, referencing what is known in Cuba as the, quote, special period, unquote, that began in 1991 with the abrupt cutoff of outside assistance after the demise of the Soviet Union. So Juan Gonzalez, who served as Western Hemisphere Director on the Biden administration's national security staff, said that, quote, cutting off the oil deliveries is going to put a huge squeeze on the humanitarian situation, unquote, in Cuba, which is already suffering regular electricity blackouts and food scarcities, quote, but I didn't think the regime is going to cry, uncle, unquote, referencing to, obviously, to US. So this is what's happening. President Trump asserted that the US, quote, in charge, unquote, of Venezuela, threatened the president of Colombia, and repeated his desire to take over Greenland. The Washington Post has also reported this. Rubio went further. He's the Secretary of State, indicating that the United States might be willing to give it a push. Quote, I am not going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be, unquote, he told NBC's Meet the Press on Sunday, but he added, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I would be concerned, unquote. So that is what the Secretary of State has said. The Wall Street Journal has reported by the time it finally released a statement late Sunday saying that 32 of its military and security personnel were dead in Caracas, the Cuban government had bigger problems on its hands. Both President Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio made clear over the weekend that the collapse of Cuba's communist government was not only a likely side benefit of Maduro's ouster, but a goal. And this is where President Trump said, quote, I don't think we need to take any action, unquote, Trump said as he flew back to Washington from his extended Florida holiday break. Without Maduro and the oil supplies Venezuela provided, he said, quote, Cuba looks like it's ready to fall, unquote. So the message is very clear. Don't mess with the US, because if you're going to mess with the US, there will be repercussions and circumstances. And the jury is out there. Some people would say, well, that's just might is right kind of a theory or practicality. Or the other people will say, oh, US needs to be more fair. And the third would be, okay, well, why these people are threatening the United States of America. At the end of the day, either the message from the administration is you toe the line or you basically face the consequences. And in this case, where Maduro has been literally threatening the United States, and the videos are out there, we said cowards and things like that. US, if you look at it from a very objective point of view, was quiet and silently they planned. And within 3 minutes, the operation happened and he was extracted from Venezuela. And obviously, he is sitting on one of the largest oil reserves when it comes to oil and gas. So it's very simple in terms of how the world still looks at the U.S. as one of the parties who still has the capabilities and the means to execute these kind of very risky and very precise ops and operations. And with the CIA, as it has been reported, infiltrated Maduro's camp, and they knew exactly what he used to eat, what he used to wear, even his pets, his movements, where he would be sleeping, and the rest is history. So this is something that is fascinating and sending a message very clear to all the enemies of the United States that U.S. is no longer going to use only the diplomatic channels, because they may use some diplomatic channels, but at the same time they may use instead of the olive branch, the other ways to make sure that U.S. National security interest is not at risk. U.S. Oil futures price. So this is where Wall Street Journal has reported oil prices barely budged after the U.S. ousted Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, and President Trump applies billions to revive the country's oil infrastructure. WSJ's David Uberti breaks down the market reaction, and that's where Associated Press and Wall Street Journal have also covered this news, and you can read it more. Obviously, it takes time in terms of drilling, and there's a lot of thick oil, as the experts are saying. So you gotta use the right equipment, and the oil and gas companies, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, and Exxon Mobil, they've met with President Trump, and the White House have discussed these investments in Venezuela. So last time I made this joke, and I'll say it again. I hope that they move quickly so we can see our gas prices, especially per gallon, from a consumer standpoint, to at least $1 or less. Because when I was in my teenage years, I literally have filled up gas for 89 cents per gallon. Some may say that was a long time ago. It was not that long ago. I'm still young at heart, so and still trying to be younger every day. But some people, even obviously who have been alive for 60, 70 years, in their teenage years, they may have seen it even at 30 cents or 20 cents or even lower. But $1 or less, I think, would work with everyone. Venezuela to give US up to 50 million barrels of oil, Trump says, and that's definitely something that in terms of the oil market prices, so it would be done based on the oil market prices as reported in this news as well. And investors on Wall Street, they're also following this closely. So the value of the barrels would be between $1.5 billion and $2.5 billion, with a B based on Tuesday's benchmark for heavy crude used on the Gulf Coast, orders said. And these are some of these people who are, talking about this whole situation. And he is representing consulting firm RBN Energy, and he basically mentioned this. So let's see how this shapes up, because we've got to make sure that the oil prices remain stable or should even go down, because everyone needs oil, and Russia and China would have a difficult time now to get oil from Venezuela, and even Iran. And Iran, we're seeing a lot of protests happening in Iran because of rising prices, not just oil prices. And oil is one of the key exports of Iran, but they don't have enough refineries, so they sell their oil in the markets, and then they have to buy it back because they don't have enough oil refineries. That's all reported in the news, and you can certainly do your research. AP News, Associated Press, Denmark and Greenland seek talks with Rubio after the White House says again it wants the island. Now let's talk about it. Why the US is so focused on the Arctic? Two reasons. That's my analysis. One is that's the passage that will open up from Arctic because there are ice-breaking ships. Canada has those, several of them. US has one as well. Maybe they have added more, who knows. And then also of the glaciers melting. So at some point, there would be a passage that would open up. So if you look at the geography, you don't want any enemies of the United States sitting somehow or getting access through the Arctic. And Canada does not have the kind of resources and military strength that the United States has. Now, you may argue, well, it's a sovereign nation, what have you. Well, these things are happening. And even some administration officials have said, and President Trump has also said, that even European Union or Europe also want US to secure this. Now, you can go ask the president why he said that, because publicly, maybe some of them may not say it, because Denmark is a sovereign country, and Denmark, basically, this Greenland belongs to Denmark based on this whole situation. So Denmark, Greenland is seeking a meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, after the Trump administration doubled down on its intention to take over the strategic Arctic island, a Danish territory, because that's what it is. So tensions escalated after the White House said Tuesday that the U.S., quote, the U.S. military is always an option, unquote, even as a series of European leaders rejected President Donald Trump's renewed calls for the U.S. to take over Greenland, citing strategic reasons. See? So what is being reported, what's happening behind the scenes, diplomatic channels, those are two or three different things. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen warned earlier this week that a U.S. takeover would amount to the end of the NATO military alliance. So that is important because that is where the U.S. is part of NATO, and Article 5, an attack on one NATO, consider an attack on all the NATO members. But then again, this needs to be negotiated. Who would come and fight the U.S.? Do we think anyone from NATO would come and fight? Let's not kid ourselves. So the Nordics, quote, the Nordics do not lightly make statements like this, unquote. Maria Martisuti, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, a defense analyst at the European Policy Center think tank, told the Associated Press on Wednesday, quote, but it is Trump whom very bombastic language bordering on direct threats and intimidation is threatening the fact to another ally by saying, quote, I will control or annex the territory, unquote. You can blame Trump. The defense analyst can certainly, she has the right to make that statement. But is it really Trump? That's the question I ask. Houston Chronicle has reported from DACA to detention, immigrant in Texas held after social media post. Lawyers say, so this news has made national headlines, and even Yahoo has reported from DACA. These are the deferred action on childhood arrivals. That's what DACA stands for. Immigrants in Texas held after social media post, lawyers say. Now, what this social media post was, we will cover it. A national effort to free a Texas DACA recipient arrested over a social media post came to Houston on Tuesday with a small protest outside the Consulate General of the Philippines. Jacob Vijandre has been detained since October when he was arrested by Immigration Customs Enforcement officers. Vijandre, a mechanic and freelance video journalist, was arrested while leaving his home in Arlington after speaking out against the war in Gaza and for supporting people he believes have been unjustly incarcerated, according to court filings. Freedom for Yaqub now. So Chelsea Batard, 27, of Anakabayan House, Anakabayan, Houston, holds a sign during a rally against the arrest and deportation of Filipino-American photojournalist Yaqub Ira Vijandre at the Philippine Consulate of Houston in Houston. So that was Tuesday, January 6th, just a few days ago, as reported by Raquel Nachio and by Houston Chronicle. So it's a lot of information that I'm sharing here with you. So we gotta stay focused in terms of what's happening and in terms of the news. So, in analysis of Vijandre's case, the Reeves Immigration Law Group, a national immigration law firm, said it's just one of about 20 where DACA recipients have been arrested. So that's what they're saying. And as you can see, some protests outside of the Filipino community members and allies rally against the arrest and deportation of this Filipino American photojournalist, Yakub Ira Vijandre, who was detained by US ICE at the Philippine consulate of Houston. In Houston, they were protesting over there. Advocates who gathered in Houston on Tuesday said Vijandre's case reflects the Trump administration's crackdown immigrants' free speech, creating a chilling effect meant to silence others from speaking out. So, quote, free speech is protected for anyone in the US because it's part of our Constitution, it's part of our democracy, unquote, said Rory Kessler, an activist and member of Anak Bayan Houston, a pro-Filipino organization. So you can read more on this. So this is basically an interesting development as well. Reuters has reported ICE fatal shooting of Minnesota woman puts US on edge. Now, this is certainly a situation where there's a lot of anger, frustration, sympathy, and outpouring of love and support. My thoughts and prayers are with her family and with all the loved ones and her child as well. Noam ICE to stay in Minneapolis after fatal shooting of US citizens. BBC News has reported a US immigration officer fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis, and she was a US citizen. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, says the shooting happened as a, quote, violent rioter, unquote, allegedly attempted to run over an immigration officer. Now, a lot of people who are watching the videos and have watched the videos, they have a different account of what has happened. So this is a very sensitive issue and certainly something that I would have never thought would happen to a US citizen. But many US citizens have actually been arrested as well because they were at the wrong place at the wrong time, and then they were let go as they were vetted. But at the same time, should it be happening to begin with? That's the question. So this fatal shooting of this 30-year-old is certainly a very sad day for America, and that has happened. Morning rundown, and NBC News reported Trump defends ICE shooting. Russia reacts to US tanker seizure, and Olympians come back at age 20. So anyway, this news obviously, and some protests, protests against ICE, as you can see this in the images as well. Several cities across the US held demonstrations after an ICE agent fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis. Many news outlets have reported this. Woman shot by agents was a US citizen, as reported by many news outlets, including BBC, US media partner of CBS. Witness describes, quote, horrendous, unquote, moment of fatal shooting. Minneapolis City Council says Renee Good was, quote, caring for her neighbors, unquote, when she was shot. The Minneapolis City Council shared a statement confirming the identity of the deceased woman as Renee Nicole Good and condemning ICE's actions in the city. So this is the news that has caught everyone by surprise and in a state of awe and shock and awe, I would say. Renee was a resident of our city, quote, quoting the City Council of Minneapolis, quote, Renee was a resident of our city who was out caring for her neighbors this morning, and her life was taken today at the hands of the federal government, unquote. The statement reads, quote, anyone who kills someone in our city deserves to be arrested, investigated, and prosecuted to the full extent of the law, unquote. So this is the council goes on to express support for immigrant communities in the city and echoed calls from Mayor Jacob Frey for ICE agents to leave immediately. So we need to keep an eye on this news. I hope calmer minds prevail. This incident should not have happened to begin with. And this is where we have to be very calm and collected. I know the sentiments are very strong, and regardless of what side people take, it's further dividing our communities and dividing Americans, and we need to somehow come together as Americans. That is just my humble opinion and message to everyone: loving, forgiving, and affectionate. And this is the theme that we are hearing from all the friends and loved ones of Renee, who is no more. So our thoughts and prayers are with her. May she rest in peace. And Good's mother told the Minnesota Star Tribune that her daughter was, quote, extremely compassionate, unquote, and said, and she said, Good was not the type of person to confront ICE agents. That's what her mother said. And quote, she's taken care of people all her life, unquote. Her mother, Donna Ganger, told the Star Tribune, quote, she was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. And our thoughts and prayers and with her mother, who is certainly grieving at this moment. And no parents should ever see the tragedy of their children while the parents are alive. That's one of the worst tragedy that could happen to any parent. So our thoughts and prayers are with this family and with Renee's mother. Competing narratives, as I mentioned earlier, so you can read it up. I think I summarized it in my commentary. And chaos, cruelty, and now murder. So people are really, really angry, frustrated at this point. So people protest against ICE, Immigration and Custom Enforcement, after US immigration agent shot and killed a 37-year-old woman in her car in Minneapolis. And this was the protest in New York City, US, in the US, obviously January 7th, as reported by Reuters. Angelina, I think, took the picture. So Minneapolis mayor, the shooting victim has been identified, as I mentioned, 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, and it comes during a major immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis. More than 2,000 agents have been deployed between there and nearby St. Paul. At a news conference, Noem said the woman's death was, quote, preventable, unquote, and that ICE operations would continue. So with that, I would like to thank our key advertisers and those of you who would like Zishan On Air to extend hours and maybe on social media, also on legacy media. Please support Zishan On Air. And with that, I would just share this number so you can certainly connect with me so we can discuss how I can advertise your business. And if you have not subscribed my YouTube channel or connected with me on YouTube, please do. And some people have made a lot of comments here. So I would like to also look at some of these comments. And before I share those comments, let me share the phone number where you can connect with me, but at the same time, also our advertisers and their message. So first of all, Affordable Insurance of Texas, AITinsurance.com for all your auto insurance needs and homeowners insurance, commercial insurance, business insurance. Call 713-785-4000, 713-785-4000, or go on the web, www.aitinsurance.com. Also, call them and get savings on your auto insurance premium, 713-785-4000, aitinsurance.com. Roop Saudi Palace, you can visit them, roopsaudi.com, and you can call them to order by calling this number, 832-267-0065. 832-267-0065, and visit online, and you can see all these traditional wear and different clothing line from different designers as well, for grooms, for brides, for men, women, children of all age groups. And they have shipments coming in from different parts of the world, from India, from Pakistan, and other countries as well, especially from Pakistan and India. So roopsari.com, and go to their location at Hillcrop, Roop Sari Palace, and you will get lots of variety over there. Now, I would like to also mention about our key advertiser, and that's Mr. Mike. And you may be thinking, well, what is Mr. Mike's message out there? I'm sharing his number on the screen, and you can see on the screen, call Mike 832-605-0600. A chef is needed if you know how to make biryani, and also Hyderabadi biryani. These are traditional items, famous items from Indian and subcontinent of that region, India, Pakistan, that area. And this is for Sugar Land's location of the Masis. They have many locations all over Texas, even in Houston, and even in California. So you don't need to go and show up at their location in Sugar Land. Just go and pick up your cell phone, call Mike 832-605-0600. 832-605-0600. So chef is needed. Now I'd like to share some of the comments before we sign off today. And before I sign off, I would like to mention about Shehnai Restaurant and Catering. If you have not catered from Shehnai, they have experience of catering for 600, 700, even more people. And call Shehnai Restaurant, and I'm giving you this number so you can pick up the phone and just call Mr. Shahid. And his number is, I'm going to share it with you on the program, and his number is 281-685-2049. 281-685-2049. Again, that's 281-685-2049. Shehnai Restaurant Catering. And some of the messages here, I'm going to show them on the screen. And again, thank you. Hi, hello back to you, Brian Callaghan, and at the same time, Cast Blast. Maduro is old news, but I know it is old news, but he was presented to the courthouse. So thank you for your message. Greetings from UK. So people are obviously watching from UK. So thank you. Here, police shoot dead 1 to 2 people a year. In the US, it's 1,200. He's making that statement. And then some more government shutdown crap pose again in a few weeks. Thank you for your message. That's Haig Homestead, and then Haig further mentioned New START Treaty. I don't know what that means. Maybe that comment was made while I was talking about some of the information or news. 1.5 trillion going to military. That someone made that comment, and then some more 25th Amendment on dementia. So this is social media. So people have their right to share their opinions. Let the next presidential candidates fight it out in Trump's Patriot Hunger Games. May the odds be ever in your favor to be the next US president. So that was another comment. Here is Slick Nice 68. Trump promises made, promises kept, again and again. US, so that's another message. Justified, Slick said, with a thumbs up. And then another message here. Deport. That's your opinion here, and I respect everyone's opinion, whether they are for or against. ICE does not have broad authority to stop vehicles for traffic violations. Their mission is immigration enforcement, not traffic policing. So that's another rogue moon child. And for 29 made this further comment. Before using deadly force, especially against someone in a vehicle, officers must consider the dangers to innocent bystanders and themselves from an out-of-control vehicle or stray gunfire. Kevin mentioned this. Let federal officers carry out their lawful duties, not to run them over. You will be fine. Kevin Quinn, thank you for your message. Terence Tefan or Tefanismo, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Again, these are different user IDs. What do you think about losing NATO, Europe, and Canada? Is Greenland that valuable? European market, it's pretty valuable. Also, strategically, Europe is important. I can't see that point. Good point. I don't know what point you're talking about. I was just reporting. And we'll talk more because these are important discussion points, and I'm running out of time as well. Need to go to the next section of programming. USA can put as many military bases as they want on the island, and they would already give us all the mining right we are ready to pay for. We don't need to annex it to take resources. That's another message from the same user mentioned earlier. Another user, Sharon, made this comment. She played silly games and got a silly prizes also. Tough luck. And someone said, thanks, stupid. I don't know who's that. There are all kinds of comments out there. Ice, baby. Vanilla ice. Well, we'll end on that positive note. So let's, continue to stay connected. I really thank all of you who have joined me every Sunday, 6 p.m. That's where this live broadcast all over the world, as people from UK also commented. I know other people from all over the world also watches this live streaming, and also on the legacy media. So with that, we'll connect next Sunday at 6 p.m. And please share, because this is the least you can do, and subscribe my YouTube channel and connect with me on Facebook, and as well as on YouTube, as well as Instagram Live. So with that, signing off. Thank you. You all have been a wonderful audience as well as viewers. Bye-bye.